Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session on commonalities seen in breast cancer. If we trace about 20-25 years back, cancer was such a rare condition, while now we see such a rapid increase in the number of cases. The incidence of breast cancer has been steadily increasing in the last 2 decades, and it is reported that every 4 minutes, an Indian woman is diagnosed with breast cancer, and it is on the rise, more so in the urban areas, which is quite scary. So, what's changed in these 2 decades? So, basically, breast cancer, or for that matter, any cancer, is multifactorial. But majorly, it boils down to factors related to your own immunity and inflammation. Anything including poor lifestyle habits which affect immunity or lead to inflammation chronically can make one more susceptible to gene mutation and thus breast cancer. But what is most striking is that there is still so much of unawareness when it comes to identifying the root cause for breast cancer. In fact, in my practice, I have come across so many cases, rather relapse cases, wherein there were so many loopholes in their lifestyle, but they were never addressed. In fact, I remember this, very recent case wherein the client had about 8 out of 10 commonalities that I'm going to talk about shortly related to her lifestyle. But she was absolutely unaware of its possible links with breast cancer, and hers was a relapse case. Hence, it is extremely important to be aware of the possible causes or commonalities to help with possibly, preventing or even helping with recovery from breast cancer. And I shall be sharing the same with you all in today's session. But before we begin, let me introduce myself. I am Prachi, head nutritionist and lifestyle expert from Lucatino's team. I have 8 years of experience in this field and I have handled cases right from cancer to diabetes, thyroid, PCOS, and many more. Now coming back to our topic, let us first understand what really is breast cancer. So, breast cancer is simply a cancer that develops in breast cells. Typically, the cancer forms either in the lobules or the ducts of the breast. So lobules are the glands that produce milk, and ducts are the pathways that bring the milk from the glands to the nipple. Apart from that, cancer can also occur in the fatty tissue within the breast. So, it can stay localized within the breast or may further spread to other parts of the body, causing metastasis. Now, the other thing about breast cancer is that, the breast cancer cells could be ER, PR, or HER2 positive. Now, when we come to ER and PR positive, meaning they have receptors for each of these hormones, that is estrogen, progesterone, which when attaches to these receptors helps with and fuels the growth of these cancer cells further. When we come to HER2, so basically HER2 is the human epidermal growth factor receptor 2, which if positive is when the HER2 protein is produced in excess than normal by these cancer cells due to a mutation. There is one more type called, TNBC, which is triple negative breast cancer, in which all these three, hence triple receptors are absent. Also, contrary to popular belief, breast cancer can happen in both females and males too. Yes, even males can have breast cancer because even males have breast tissue. So it is comparatively quite rare though, but they can have it too. Also, about 5 to 10% of breast cancer cases are found to be hereditary. That is, they are passed on from parent to child. But otherwise, most of it is triggered due to mutations in the gene post-birth, due to most of the factors or commonalities that we shall talk about now. So let us begin with these commonalities. The first commonality is chronic gut issues, especially constipation and acidity. So now, we all know that gut controls 75 to 80% of our immunity and is comprised, if compromised gut can weaken immunity, increasing the susceptibility to get cancer. Also, what happens in constipation is that the wastes and toxins get accumulated in the body and break down into toxic acids and gases, in turn increasing inflammation in the body. Also, excess estrogen hormone, which is normally excreted out of the system through stools, but in constipation, it is taken back into circulation, and this especially can make the woman susceptible to ER positive, which is estrogen receptor positive breast cancers. Even chronic acidity leads to excess inflammation in the body, and chronic inflammation in turn favors growth of cancer cells. Also, acidity depletes the nutrients in the body and thus can cause deficiencies, weakening the immunity further and making you more susceptible to having a cancer. So it is extremely important to address these gut issues and not ignore them at all, because that's really important a part. And we've seen so many breast cancer cases wherein there were chronic gut issues which were never addressed. If you all are looking for such remedies, then you all can always watch Luke's or our team's videos on the same separately to help combat such gut issues. Coming to the second commonality is chronic sleep deprivation. So, if you're sleeping late or for lesser hours, especially in this lockdown, maybe watching Netflix excessively at night, thinking it's fine since, we are at home, then let me tell you all, it is not fine at all. I always say that sleep is often underestimated and is considered non-productive by many. But sleep is extremely important for repair and recovery, hormonal balance, detoxification, and to strengthen your immunity. Also, what is more important is that sleep deprivation suppresses melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, but at the same time, it is also an important anti-cancer hormone. So, usually normal cells have the ability to self-destroy, which, we call it as apoptosis. In case there is any abnormality in them, so apoptosis is when the cells are capable of destroying themselves if they see like an abnormality in them. And melatonin helps with the same. But cancer cells lose this ability of apoptosis. So you see, melatonin is extremely important to be secreted, which happens only when you are asleep. So, good quality and quantity of sleep is extremely essential. So try to maintain regular sleep patterns. That is, go to sleep and wake up at the same time each day. Complete on an average about 7 to 8 hours of good deep sleep so that you feel rested on wake up the next day. The third commonality is, again, which we commonly see in a lot of breast cancer cases, is deep-rooted chronic emotional stress. So, we cannot separate the mind from our body and healing. Chronic deep-rooted emotions, suppressed emotions ultimately tend to cause hormonal imbalance and thus weaken our immunity. How does this actually happen? So basically, chronic stress leads to the levels of the stress hormone cortisol remain high chronically, which in turn decreases certain hormones required for metabolism and immunity, which ultimately leads to the decrease in immunity and thus, making you more susceptible to cancer. We all have some or the other stressors in life at every walk of life. But, it is very important to deal with these emotions the right way. Certain inexpensive and powerful tools like acceptance and letting go, having a dialogue to vent out those toxic emotions, positive visualization, affirmations, deep breathing are important and have proved to be beneficial in dealing with such emotions. So to try them for sure. The fourth commonality that we generally see is certain flaws in when it comes to nutrition. So we always say that, you are what you eat, and food is information to your genes. So simply, if you eat the right food, it will build your immunity. While if you eat the wrong food, it will hamper your immunity. So, it's as simple as that. And there are certain foods that we really need to be careful about. The first one and the most important being sugar. We need to strictly stop having refined white sugar completely, because cancer cells feed on sugar and it's pretty much proven now. The best example is a PET scan in itself, because the patient is given radiated sugar solution, and then the places where it lights up in the scan is where the cancer cells exist and have their metabolic activity. So there's a direct correlation. Also, processed sugar triggers the release of inflammatory cytokines and make the body extremely acidic, thus weakening immunity. So fine, you will avoid white sugar, but that is it. What about hidden sugars, in your packaged foods and stuff? So always look for, names that, or rather words ending in OSE, that is, say fructose, sucrose, dextrose on ingredient labels. Not only that, but be careful with the hidden forms of sugar as well, like high fructose corn syrup, malt syrup, cane crystals, cane sugar, etc. on the packaged foods. Even aerated drinks have high fructose corn syrup. So it is extremely important to read the ingredient labels correctly. So one may opt for natural sweeteners like organic jaggery, raw honey, organic unpasteurized honey, or dried stevia leaves in moderation, but refrain definitely from refined white sugar. The other aspect when it comes to food is trans fat, which are found in food which are fried in refined or reused oils, in margarine or cream biscuits, bakery items, also refined flour present in biscuits, pizzas, pastas, which further cater to triggering inflammation. The other important aspect when it comes to nutrition is dairy, which is and it is extremely important to understand this part very, very well, especially when it comes to estrogen dominant breast cancers. So generally or largely, cattle are pumped with hormones, mainly estrogen and bovine growth hormones, and with antibiotic injections to increase the yield, which in turn creates inflammation in our body and plays with our hormonal system, and hence puts us at risk of especially hormone sensitive breast cancers, as I said, estrogen dominant breast cancers. Hence, if you want to opt for dairy, always see to it that it is in the form of, it is organic, a grass-fed source, and it is A2 milk. Again, over here, we need to keep in mind that it's not just about direct dairy like, say, paneer, milk, curd, butter, etc. But it is also found in packaged and ready foods like, say, ice creams, cakes, chocolates, too. So everything put together, again, it may amount to a lot of hormone dominant dairy that you're consuming. Hence, we need to be aware of this fact too and choose your food wisely and in moderation. The fifth commonality is movement or exercise. So, it is your blood which carries nutrients and oxygen to each and every body cell. So even if you eat healthy, nutritious food and superfoods, but there is a lack of movement, that will hamper blood circulation, obviously. And thus, these nutrients and oxygen would not reach each cell effectively, affecting ultimately, your cell function and immunity. Also, movement and exercise is important to activate the lymphatic system, which is the waste garbage disposal system in the body, leading to detoxification and thus strengthening immunity. Otherwise, toxins can get clogged, which can again, ultimately lead to inflammation and wrong gene to be expressed, causing cancer. Also, the other fact that, being overweight or obese, especially high fat percentage, increases the risk of breast cancer. Hence, it is extremely, extremely important to keep up with movement and exercise to lose fat as well. So now one may say that, I work out for 30 minutes in the day and rest of the day I'm sedentary. That's not being active. Along with 30 minutes of workout, you need to move at regular intervals through the day to keep up with blood circulation. It could be, taking a few steps every hour in the day as well. So on an average, we can, gradually step it up and aim for about 8 to 10,000 steps a day. But of course, there are exceptions like, people who have knee issues and stuff. For them, it may be a little more relaxed. But on an average, aim for 8 to 10,000 steps a day. The sixth commonality, and which is kind of, not many are really aware of, is use of cosmetics. So now cosmetics are widely used today by both women and men as they help to enhance our beauty. But it is important to note that they are loaded with a lot of harmful chemicals, which could be potential carcinogens and xenoestrogens, which are basically, substances which mimic estrogen and thus they may cause overload of estrogen, which may disrupt our hormonal balance and make us more susceptible to hormone-sensitive breast cancer. Example of these chemicals could be parabens, phthalates, SLS, formaldehyde, etc. Also, what we don't realize is that, skin application is more dangerous than even eating a toxic substance. Because if you ingest a toxic substance through your mouth, the enzymes in the saliva, stomach, and liver break it down to some extent into a not so harmful byproduct. But when you apply it externally over the skin, these chemicals get absorbed directly through your skin pores and enter the bloodstream without any filters, which is more detrimental. So, it is extremely important to be wise when choosing your cosmetics. We do understand that, people in specific professions may require to have some basic makeup on, but then always opt for chemical-free cosmetics and personal care products, which are very much available in the market today. Also, all the more during lockdown, when most of you are working from home, it could be easier to stay sans makeup or, with minimal makeup on if you have no video calls to attend on a daily basis. So let us try to take advantage of this time to, help rejuvenate our skin and let it stay clean and breathe too from time to time. Also, when it comes to antiperspirants, so even they have chemicals that may lead to deactivating the lymph nodes which are under the armpits and block the release of toxins, thus again causing a toxin buildup in the breast. So in case if you have to use an antiperspirant, I would suggest that you go the natural way and use something like organic cornstarch with few drops of tea tree essential oil for that cooling effect, and you're sorted. The seventh commonality is the use of plastic and xenoestrogens. So, when it comes to plastic containers, bottles, or even food packages which are made of plastic, they have bisphenol A, which is commonly called as, BPA, which is extremely harmful as it alters the cell DNA, which makes your body more susceptible to, develop cancers, especially breast cancer, because it is also known xenoestrogen, which I said, basically xenoestrogens are the ones which mimic estrogen, and hence further they increase the risk of developing ER positive breast cancer. Hence, when you instead of plastic containers or any kind of plastic bottles and stuff, it's always better to opt instead for things like stainless steel or glass or even earthenware pots instead. The eighth commonality is using underwire bras or too tight bras. So when you come to think of it, basically what happens is that these underwire or too tight bra, they tend to put pressure just below the bottom of your armpits, and they cut down circulation in the lymph nodes, thus blocking the drainage of lymph fluid from the sides and bottom of the breast, thus leading to toxin buildup. Hence, it is better to use well-fitted bras, but preferably, cotton ones. And in fact, better to go commando while at home or especially during bedtime to help the breasts and, the lymph nodes breathe and do its job of detoxification well. The ninth commonality is use of hormonal pills. So OCPs, which are oral contraceptive pills, which are commonly taken not just as a way of contraception, but also as a treatment for acne or disorders like PCOS. Also, the use of one-time OCPs is on the rise and is taken mindlessly. Apart from that, there are so many females who tend to pop in hormonal pills frequently to delay their periods for reasons like for an upcoming travel or some religious function. This is actually highly detrimental because you are going against the normal flow of your hormones, and this again may make you more susceptible to especially high risk hormone dominant cancers like breast cancer or even cervical cancer. Also, the use of postmenopausal estrogen and progesterone medications to reduce the sign of menopause symptoms pose a higher risk of breast cancer. Hence, we need to take an informed decision while taking such medications. And if you really need to take these, and if it's an absolute requirement to have these pills, then you also need to be aware of ways to properly detoxify the body and need to be careful of not letting any other estrogen dominant source in your routine, like I said, plastics or dairy or cosmetics, as we discussed earlier. The 10th and the last commonality which is seen is alcohol and smoking. So, smoking in any form and either active or passive smoking is a complete no-no because it is highly carcinogenic and it again, increases the toxin load in the body, lowering immunity and increasing inflammation, making you again more susceptible to cancers, including breast cancer. Also, alcohol, especially binge drinking, is like a burden to the liver, which is one of the main detoxifying organs in the body. Also, alcohol makes body acidic and increases inflammation. The other reason for alcohol is that alcohol in itself increases estrogen production in the body, making again, one more susceptible to ER positive breast cancer. Hence, it is best to eliminate alcohol completely, or at least, it's better to have it in moderation and not really binge drink. So yes, these were the 10 commonalities that we generally see when it comes to breast cancer in our practice. Tina, can we have the questions and answers?
Sure, we have a few questions that have already come in, but for those who have any questions, you can post your questions in the Q&A section and we'll pick it up for Prachi to help us with the answers. The first question is, if you could repeat, what are the harmful chemicals in the cosmetics?
Okay. So the very common ones are basically parabens, phthalates, formaldehyde, SLS, which is sodium lauryl sulfate, even talc for that matter, which has asbestos. So these are the most common chemicals which we come across in cosmetics.
Okay. What about sports bras? Is that something that we can wear, especially while working out and things?
Yeah, so again, while working out, it is still fine, but again, see to it that, even that is a little, for some people, that's also quite tight fitted. So the basic idea is to wear something which is more loose, which helps with better, lymph fluid circulation, which will help with toxin, removing the toxins as well from through the lymphatic circulation. So yes, you can wear sports bra during workout, but then it's always good to change it as soon as you are done with the workout.
Okay, all right. So I have a two-pronged question. It's mentioned that I'm ER/PR negative and HER2 positive. This person is 31 years old. Could you please help me understand the main root cause of HER2 positive? I'm genetically negative, vegetarian since childhood with a good lifestyle. Does the weather change make any difference in human biological system and cause cancer?
Okay, fine. So let us just break it up a bit. So when it comes to HER2 positive, so basically it's epidermal growth factor, which normally is there, which helps in controlled growth of our cells. But because of some or the other triggers in the body, that can lead to a mutation in this HER2 gene, which then leads to uncontrolled, growth of the cells, breast cells, and thus lead to breast cancer. So, again, it boils down to the same point that all the 10 commonalities that we discussed, it is important that you sit down and maybe, try to correlate and introspect as to what could be the trigger for you, which could have, led to a mutation in your HER2 gene. And as, you yourself, as you said, that it is not genetic for you, which definitely means that there was some trigger which caused a mutation in your HER2 gene. So it's basically, you just need to introspect and, understand if there was anything out of these 10 commonalities which kind of, caused it. Coming to temperature, not really, as in, your body is capable of adapting to the change in temperatures per se. So as such, there is no direct correlation with, change in weather conditions per se.
There's another question about Tupperware. Now, a lot of people store stuff in the fridge, especially in plastic Tupperware. What do you recommend them do instead of using Tupperware?
Yeah, so again, it's plastic, type of plastic again. So it's always good to avoid it and instead use things like, again, steel containers or mason jars, glass jars, instead to, even if you have to, store something in the fridge, in the refrigerator. So that's a better choice than using, things like Tupperware.
Okay. Is there any particular reason why we get fibroids or lumps in the breast, which may or may not be cancer?
Right. So again, it, of course, so it happens because of some hormonal imbalance, which again could be, related to these commonalities as well. Though it is not cancerous, it is benign. But again, it is related to hormonal imbalance, which could happen because of any of these, commonalities that we spoke about. So definitely, even for fibroids, you can look into these commonalities.
All right. Okay, is it normal to have nodes sometimes in during the menopause phase, which occurs and disappears on their own?
Yeah, so it could be normal in the sense that it could not be cancerous, but it could be because of some inflammation that happens in the body, and which is why they kind of swell up a bit during that phase, and then they automatically, as the body gets settles with it, it comes back to its original state.
Right. Thanks for that, Prachi. There's another question about talcum powder instead of deodorants or perspirants, or maybe even baby powder. Can that be used?
So again, when it comes to talcum powder, it has something called as asbestos and lead, which, again, these are like harmful chemicals, and they could be possible carcinogens as well. And they can, clog the lymph nodes as well. So it's always good to avoid, be it talcum or even baby powders, though you may feel that baby powders could be mild, but they still do have these chemicals in them. So it is best to, choose or rather go for natural powder. So as I mentioned, you can just use organic cornstarch. And if you want that cooling effect, you can add a few drops of, tea tree essential oil into it, and, you're sorted.
How much can a gluten-free and dairy-free diet help in an ER/PR positive breast cancer, having had both of these all through to the age of 40?
So, when it comes to casein free, which is basically, going off dairy. So as I mentioned in the session itself, that if it is, if you're using organic and A2 milk, that is still okay to go for, because we are at least sure of that, there are no hormones pumped into those cattle, and these hormones are not present in that milk. And also similarly, when it comes to gluten, so basically nowadays the structure of a wheat, the gluten that it contains, is so modified that can lead to inflammation in our body. So it has been definitely seen that casein and gluten, for that matter, even if they are sometimes even if they are organic, it can increase inflammation in an already inflamed body, in an already inflamed gut. So if you think that wheat and dairy are not suiting you, you may want to try going off and gluten and off gluten and casein per se, to help reduce inflammation and thus help with your your breast cancer as well.
Okay, thanks so much for all these questions being answered, Prachi. However, we have very little time left, so if you could quickly recap what we've covered so far, that would be great.
Sure. So what we saw today in today's session was basically what breast cancer is briefly, and then we looked at 10 commonalities which are seen in breast cancer. The 10 commonalities are basically chronic gut issues, especially constipation and acidity, chronic sleep deprivation, deep-rooted or chronic emotional stress, flaws seen in nutrition, especially when it comes to sugar, trans fat, and hormone pump dairy consumption. Then the fifth was movement and exercise, which is needed. Then the use of chemical-laden cosmetics and antiperspirants. Then the use of plastics, which have xenoestrogens. Then there was the use of underwire bra or too tight bras. Then the use of hormonal pills, and the last one being alcohol and smoking. So, it is ultimately what we want to say is that it is high time that we introspect and reflect on what out of these 10 commonalities could have been the trigger for you, and take steps to correct them right now with discipline and consistency. Have a great evening, everyone. Take care.